Coming up on this episode of Celtics Weekly, Joe Mazzulla shares an update on Jason Tatum's ankle injury. We have highlights from an undefeated road trip so far. And Sam Hauser is on an absolute heater. All that and more now.
All right, man. We can start the show.
Welcome into Celtics Weekly.
All the kids are doing it.
We have Chris Forsberg of NBC Sports Boston taking a face Fors bath. So you're ready now. You're good. You're awake.
I'm ready. We'll revisit this later in the show, but I'm told this is what all the kids are doing to be ready.
As you drip all over your lovely Derek White sweatshirt, why don't you towel off there?
Here we
because
go.
I know that where we're starting this week is where everyone's primary concern is. Of course, that is Jason Tatum, who left the third quarter of that Kings game with an ankle injury. You all want updates, so let's hear from Coach Joe Mazzulla about how Tatum is feeling.
He seems to be doing okay. He's just icing it right now. I didn't see the play, but they made the right calls of flagrant foul, and fortunate that he was able to shoot the free throw and, just taking care of it right now. So.
Coach, what is your level of concern with Jason? Could he miss some games?
I literally just asked him how he's doing. He said, okay. I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, but I know he'll do anything and everything to make sure he just gets better.
So there's a tweet from Adam Himmelsbach of the Boston Globe. Tatum left the arena with no crutches or boot and just a very slight limp. So obviously, those words from Mazzulla, no boot, a slight limp, that's all sounding pretty positive. Forsberg, what do you think about how did we dodge a bullet here with our star player?
Absolutely. Two things. One, he shows up on the injury report for this Phoenix game as doubtful. That means there was at least a chance that he could play, which it seems encouraging. Seems to suggest that it's not a major sprain in that ankle. And then, who would have thought? The Kelsey brothers help us out. He appears on their podcast and says, one of the benefits of being 27 is you recover quickly. So I do think we dodged the bullet here. Hopefully Jason Tatum is back on the court sooner than later.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's get to our fun of the show. That, of course, is Plays of the Week, your top 10 plays from the Boston Celtics in a very long road trip here. We start in Portland at number 10, where Peyton Pritchard, he comes up a little short, but Luke Cornett has the follow. And what he does after, road dogs, woof, woof, woof.
I want you to keep your eye on Derek White. I believe Derek White is the trigger here, where Luke dunks it. He always wants to do something for a celebration. He sees Derek White barking in the lane, and he joins him in whooping.
Number 9, Drew Holiday has a nice pickoff here of Zach LaVine and dishes it to KP for an easy finish on the other end.
Like Drew Holiday doing Drew Holiday things. Always in the right spot, but then turns that defense into a little offense. KP with the flush.
Number 8, Sacramento again. A move that maybe would have worked in Miami because it's a flamingo from Jason Tatum.
Ankle was looking pretty good right there when he was hopping off of it. Look, he practices this before games sometimes. You always practice the shots you're going to make in the game.
All right, fancy moves. Number 7, Pritchard going behind the back for a finish, breaking ankles in his hometown of Portland.
I know Kyrie is the ankle taker, but that might put Pritchard in the running. They had to pretty much dust him off the floor after that. What a move by Pritchard. He's just so crafty.
Number 6, in Utah, Derek White pokes out the dribble. Celtics work it back and find Al Horford low here in the dunker.
I think what I love best is watch Derek after he gets the strip. He just kind of wanders off screen for a little bit. He knows the play's going the other way, that his teammates are going to find a way to reward that hustle with the basket, finding Al in the dunker spot. Good teamwork.
Number 5 is another Jason Tatum highlight here. He's going 1-on-3 in Portland. This is an MJ finish. I know Kobe's his guy, but the way he finishes here is Jordan-esque.
I just takes him almost out of his shoes. That's just JT being filthy.
Number 4 in Utah, Drew Holiday intercepts a pass. And, get yourself a guy who can do both. Because look what happens on the other end. He's here for the little give and go.
Oh, boy.
Give and go, like it's a 4th grade drill, except it's the NBA.
I love it. So he did all the football things. Interception. Now he's going to show off his QB skills. Then at the other end, what a pass by KP. Big man can pass that ball.
Number 3, we're getting a lot of play here from Pritchard in his hometown of Portland. But here he trips up a defender and just left wide open for a three. It's an interesting move, Cotton. Let's see how it goes.
And this is just, the Celtics were just toying with Portland defenders on this night. These poor guys, they have to check. They might need some more like ankle straps or something to keep them upright because these are just get messed with.
Number 2 here. Of course, this was the craziest move of the entire road trip in Utah. Tatum looks like he's losing it, but nope, he hacky sacks it to himself for the finish.
People are calling this messy with the way that he kind of kicked it up to himself. Only superstars can do this. Don't try this at home. You will look foolish. Jason Tatum makes it look like it was a perfectly natural motion, and to finish it with a bucket is just absurd.
Number 1, Baylor Shireman misses the 3. But he gets the steal on the rebound and then just no look behind the back to Peyton.
He shouted out white chocolate, a little Sacramento throwback right there, but I think it has Larry Bird vibes, a little steal, a pass. That was just beautiful. And with that mustache, Baylor just made it look so sexy.
Those are your plays of the week. Some fancy playmaking landed Baylor Shireman at the top of our plays of the week. So in the Paint, we are breaking down what the Rook's been doing for us, Barry.
So what's crazy to me is that he comes in with this reputation of being a great three-point shooter, knockdown, quick release, all those things. But what makes him stand out lately has been his ability to get everyone else involved, the vision he has on the court. So we wanted to spotlight 3 plays where his vision was on display. And we start with this one where, watch how many times, he's gonna take the handoff here from Al, and he's gonna probe a little bit. He's studying the floor, seeing what's out there. He's gonna be, all right, nothing there, kind of kicks it back. But he's not done, he's gonna relocate. He's gonna get another chance to probe, and then watch this. Like how did he see Sam in the corner to begin with?
It's such good vision, and I think it is underappreciated for somebody who's just at the point of the career that he's in, the growth that he's shown since training camp, really.
I think what I love most is that, again, teams have to respect him as a shooter, but all of a sudden now, if they know you can put the ball on the floor and go create for somebody else, it just complicates things. Are you gonna close out hard on him, or are you gonna try to stay in front of him so that he doesn't drive and get someone else involved? Pick your poison.
What else have we got here?
We got a second play against these poor Portland Trailblazers who just couldn't stop him. All right, so he's gonna, yet again, he's studying the floor. I don't even know how he knew that Tatum would be in that spot. This is where, and you probably heard this before, Baylor Shireman was a record-setting QB back in Nebraska.
I was about to say, that's the arm right
and there it is. It's just like leading a receiver to its spot. A beautiful play that sets up Tatum driving, finding Luke for the dunk. This is what good vision does. He doesn't get an assist on that play, but it sets into motion with the hockey assist. The Celtics get.
May I say, like, quick aside, don't always specialize your kids in one sport because the cross-sport thing is real. You see it right there.
100%. All right, and let's just do one more. Now this is against the Heat. You got Peyton showing off his own ability to probe, but watch this. Baylor gets it. There's like pretty much a triple team on him. Somehow he knows that JB is in that corner, feeds it out there. I go back to it. He's supposed to be the guy in the corner. That's his reputation, right? Knockdown shooter. No, he can catch a pass in traffic. A lot of players would panic in that moment. Where am I supposed to go? Especially a rookie. He's patient, waits for the lane to develop, flips it out, no look. Just so pretty.
I think what's also underappreciated about this is at this point in the year, these guys are not practicing like they are in training camp or maybe even like they will be in the playoffs in terms of getting into that rhythm with each other. And Baylor Shireman is in a really challenging spot of just having to be ready to go all the time. And so seeing him be in those in rhythm playmaking scenarios, so impressive.
He couldn't have known that an opportunity would open up, but here he is. When the team is shorthanded, he has thrived. Also underappreciated, that mustache, which is looking sweet, Baylor. Baylor Fireman, get it going. I love it.
That's it. I'm walking off set. This is mustache propaganda. Let's bring in our buddy Melissa Valdez. She's been all over social media for social snapshots, so she's looking at what all you weirdos are posting, and we love it. We love it. What do you have
Hi,
for
Meg.
us?
Hi, Chris. Let's take a look at this week's social snapshots. First one, champions run in the family. This is a post from at Celtics Muse. The Illawarra Hawks, who are coached by Jason Tatum's dad, Justin Tatum, just won the NBL championship, which took place in Australia. I know that JT and a couple of his teammates tuned in. They, congratulated him. And how great is that? Father and son receiving titles in the same time? Like, that's incredible.
I think they also had the same celebration. You know how Tatum did the "we did it"
That's
or whatever.
right.
I think Dad busted that out as well. I love it. There's the through line of Tatum's and winning.
That's right.
All that family
Talk about
does.
legacy. Let's take a
Tatum,
look.
Deuce, you're on the clock.
Hey, he's up next. Speaking of the best fans in the world, of course, is always our Celtics fan. This is a photo and a post posted by @CelticsGRD. Green runs deep in Sacramento, and we love to see all of our Celtics fans all over the country representing. Shout out to GRD, one of our best super fans who is always showing love to our Celtics everywhere.
So normally if you're outside the garden after a game, this is sort of what it looks like. But I like that we went out to Sacramento.
That's right.
We stuffed that beam in a locker and let Green run deep over all of Sacramento.
Right.
I love the interactions in this picture because it's almost like something from a painting that you'd see on the Sistine Chapel. The reaching and the high-fiving.
Right. We love
and
all
it's
of our Celtics fans.
Very beautifulangelo posed. Well done.
Let's take a look at the last one. Speaking of Celtics fans, we know that we have had some really late games. Here's a photo from @InAngelo. Me trying to stay awake to watch the Celtics game tonight, and they are definitely trying everything possible to stay awake. We see him here dipping his face in ice cold water.
Only a total crazy person would do that.
100%.
Chris, I heard
Somebody
you
totally
tried this.
unhinged.
Did you feel a little bit better afterwards? Or
So-
were you awake?
I'm going to tell you, you get an initial burst of energy, you get psyched up. Maybe it was just the fact that it's Celtics Weekly, I don't know, but I was ready to go and it burnt off quick. So tonight, I'm going to line up like 7
That's right.
bowls of ice.
That's right.
And
We're
just every
staying
hour.
awake. I also heard it's our last 10 p.m. starting game tonight, so we'll be back to our regular schedule soon.
All right, Melissa, thank you. Don't go anywhere. On the other side, we are breaking down the heater that Sam Hauser's on.
Tatum going to work, elbow jumper, yes sir!
That's in my spot. What was up? It's crazy. Sick
Good
time.
job as always.
Deuce, what up, baby?
Yeah,
Baby. Let's get it, let's get it.
Leaves it on top.
Guys,
One of the most coveted times of our game, so I'm just enjoying the overall experience, just having a good time.
Are you there or
Golf
something?
party? Welcome back. This week, our player spotlight is on Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser, he's the sharpshooter on the Celtics who got off to a little bit of a slow start because he was struggling with a back injury, but now, over the last 7 games, he's averaging 14 points per game, and he leads the Eastern Conference with 29 three-pointers made since March 10th. Forsberg, how are you feeling about this heater that Hauser's on?
If there was one thing I wanted to see before the end of the season, it was sort of for Sam to find his groove, find that mojo beyond the three-point arc, and it sure feels like he's back to being himself. You hope that back holds up moving forward, but when Sam's playing like this, and you can see the number there on the screen, Celtics are 26-3 when he plays 21 plus minutes. He's getting that time when he's knocking down shots, and this is just a different level of the Celtics when he's playing like this.
Absolutely, and with Sam, you know, he's progressed a lot as a defender. When you look ahead at who he's going to be in the playoffs, I'm wondering the role that you see him playing because, you know, there's always these one-off games where you need a hero. Could Sam Hauser be our hero?
I love it. Throw him in the category of Leon Poe and Posey and all these guys that through the years have been elevated as role players when it's needed most. I think Sam absolutely has that potential. You hope that three-point shot, you bottle this up from right now, take it into the postseason. I go back to it. If he's knocking down shots, he's shown he's grown as a defender. He can take on those challenges. I'm eager to see him go to another level in that postseason.
Forsberg, it's been a while since we did the hardest hitting segment of Celtics Weekly, which is Take Your Pick.
Yes.
Where my doggies at? One more time, one more time.
Boston has gone to the dogs, and so in this Take Your Pick segment, that's where we're starting. It's gonna get weird because all of a sudden this team is barking. They're barking up in huddles. You got Luke Cornett barking as his celebration. They're road dogs, and they're taking pride in it, Forsberg.
I love it. So it started last year. Jaylen Brown in the locker room after games, after playoff road wins, would go in there and be like, "Where my road dogs at?" And everyone starts barking. Woo, 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 woo. Now they're doing it after tip-ins on the court, and it's just getting weird. But we do have to. There's another level to the dogs that
Yes,
we need
there
to
is
get
another
to.
level because I think the first point that we had to start at with Take Your Pick is which dog breed fits with each of these Celtics personalities.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with what I think is the most obvious one, okay? Luke Cornett is a Great Dane. If you ever see the Great Dane at the dog park, it's like the friendliest dog. It looks big and kind of imposing, but a little awkward at the same time. But the friendliest, just like dependable man's best friend.
Okay, so we're tracking on the same wavelength. But for me, it's a golden doodle. Look, I own a golden doodle. They're big, they're kind of clumsy sometimes, but they're actually super athletic and they're super smart, like way too smart. And that's Luke on the court, where you look at him, you're like, just a 7'2" big guy, really can't do much. And all of a sudden, he's dunking on you and barking in your face. I think he's a golden doodle.
Okay, you mentioned your dog, so I gotta get to mine, because I have a Siberian Husky, and the more that I watch Kristaps Porzingis, the more I go, that is a derpy Husky. Okay, I love Porzingis. He's extremely athletic. He's one of one, got those unicorn qualities like a Husky if you've seen him, but sometimes a little out of control.
Yep.
And there's the derp factor. I think there is a little bit of a derp factor, and I don't say that as a bad thing. I say it as a compliment because I love it.
All right, I went the hard route here, and I Googled what is the most joyful dog, and I was told it is the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. Now look, I'm conflicted. I don't think we should be bringing the Cavaliers into this conversation, and yet, if that is the most joyful dog, then that is the way I must go, because KT is the most joyful player on the Celtics, and he just exuberance and happiness, and it permeates his play, and so whatever that Cavalier Spaniel dog is, that's KP.
My next choice, it really goes back to some of the Jumbotron segments that we've seen with Jaylen Brown. Because you get these Jumbotron segments where everyone's all over the place and Jaylen is focused on the task at hand. That makes him a German Shepherd. Okay, Jaylen Brown, he's always locked in. He's got the warrior mentality. He's like, we're playing fetch. Okay, I'm not messing around with anybody else. It's the task at hand.
You could not have nailed this one more. This is the one we that absolutely agree on. When we're walking into the garden, there's usually German Shepherds like patrolling as people are walking in, keeping out all the riffraff. And that to me is Jaylen Brown. Laser focused. You can throw a tennis ball at him, he's not playing with it in the moment until it needs to be. And then when he's time to play, it's just dunking on everybody. I love that pick.
Okay, our final one, of course, we had to toss one out to JT. I'm throwing JT a bone because he had a little bit of an ankle injury earlier in the week. And so I'm giving him a Frenchie because he has a Frenchie and he loves Frenchies. And Frenchies, I believe, are the most popular dog in the United States right now.
Really?
And that's what JT should be among NBA fans.
Okay, I don't even know if I'm going to pronounce this right, but I'm going with Samoyed, which is evidently like a really expensive, attention-demanding dog. And that's what Jason Tatum is, the biggest contract in NBA history. He demands your attention. Player A, dog A, whatever we're going to call him, he's a Samoyed. I can't afford one. I told one I wanted one on set. Samoyed?
I don't know. We'll Google it after the show.
I should have done that too when I Googled it in the first place, but you know.
So much of this was born out of the celebration that we're seeing from Luke Cornett, which I love, the barking. But it gets us into our next topic, which is what's the best Celtics celebration right now? You got pocket full of threes from your guy Derek White on the sweatshirt. You got the kiss, which now Baylor Shireman is trying to co-opt.
He says he did it in high school, and he got JT's okay to use it.
Okay, you got the seatbelt, which we've seen at times from JB. So what's your favorite?
Ooh, putting me on the spot first. All right, since I'm wearing the sweatshirt, I'm going with Derek's pocket full of threes, because I didn't see it coming. Like, all of a sudden, he's like messing around with those shorts. It's getting a little heavy. Turns out he's got the threes everywhere. And we're going to get to it later, but Derek has a chance to be the single-season leader in 3 points, and those pockets are just overflowing with threes right now.
Absolutely needs cargo shorts. I think they're coming back. My favorite is still the barking. Barking's hilarious. I know that there's another team in the league in OKC who's doing barking as well, but there's enough barks around for everybody. So I love it from Luke Cornett. If you had a celebration, what would it be? Mine is, I'm going with remember in Clueless when they do the whatever? I'd flip that over for an M for Mego.
Ooh, I like that, you little M, but then you got to flip it up and do the whatever.
I love that. Although I think you're making like an upside down U. You need to get those thumbs checked with your doctor.
I don't know.
That golf in the winter is doing something to you.
So my choice would be, I think of like back to two Celtic things recently. Luke with the robo-dab.
I love it.
It's just out of control. Like, it doesn't seem like he didn't know what to do with his body, so he just started dabbing, which just jumped the shark like 10 years ago. I'm fine with that. Or I think back to Gershon Yabusele. I know he's with the Sixers now, but when he used to hit a three and then grab the arrow and launch it to the moon, I just thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was something like it looked like that was out of Greek mythology, which was really great. The Celtics are almost done with this very long road trip that have very late start times for us on the East Coast covering it. I know everybody feels really bad for us. How do you stay up through these 10 p.m. starts?
Besides multiple face baths, what I like to do is drink a lot of coffee. So I asked Gal the other night, I said, when do you stop drinking coffee? And he said, normally it's 7 hours before he goes to bed. I said, that's way too much information. Just tell me like a time. But for me, caffeine doesn't affect me. So I will sit there and chug like cappuccinos and I don't do energy drinks. That's bad for you. But coffee, tea, whatever I can get my hands on that has maybe a little bit of caffeine in there, I'm chugging that straight up until like 1 a.m. and then I get home and I'm like, what am I going to do?
Okay, if you got a problem with energy drinks, I'm feeling very sheepish about what I'm about to say because my go-to choice for staying up for a 10 p.m. start rhymes with fountain brew. And I do diet. I do a zero version, so it's actually not as bad for your teeth as far as I know.
Do they make a Baja Blast diet version?
Fountain brew?
Fountain brew?
Yes, I believe that they do. But as I said, we're almost done with this long road trip. Let's move into future focus. The Celtics round out this road trip against the Suns, Spurs, and Grizzlies. They start out in Phoenix. This is a team that's gone through a lot, but has been playing really well recently. So what are you expecting from this matchup, Forsberg?
Yeah, they're rolling right now. And KD, Booker, they've been playing well even without Bradley Beal. You got to be ready. That's a team that's kind of fighting for their playoff lives, that wants to show that the start of the year wasn't indicative of what they can do. This is a night you wish you had Tatum out there because he loves playing against Kevin Durant. Remember, like he thought he might be drafted by Phoenix. So I just think this is a good opportunity to kind of keep this momentum rolling, regardless of who's out there. Celtics have always thrived, no matter who's on the court.
Next stop is San Antonio, and this is kind of a matchup where you look at it in November and you go, what a great stretch this is going to be. Unfortunately, you have the very serious Wembanyama injury earlier in the season. So is there anything that you can really see from this matchup the Celtics can
a little bit of a new look team, right? De'Aaron Fox there now. I wonder if you can just find some desire to keep the momentum going. This is another game where there's going to be plenty of these at the finish line. What is the inspiration? What is the motivation? Joe's got to find a way to kind of keep these guys motivated, even if the superstar players aren't out there. Maybe it's another night where you can kind of lean on that stay-ready group and keep it going.
Highest seeded team of the whole bunch is the Memphis Grizzlies. And this all for me comes down to Ja Morant, day to day. What's his availability going to be? Because this could be a really fun matchup if you're able to have both teams at least kind of reasonably healthy and available, and the kind that I would like to see before you head into the playoffs.
Exactly. When I was going through the end of the year schedule, I kind of circled this one. Okay, maybe this is a night where everybody gets their best players out there, maybe more of a playoff feel than we'll see in other games. The one thing I would note is that Memphis is on the front end of a back-to-back. They got to play Golden State. You start wondering, like, would they save their horses for that night? But it is a very good team out of the Western Conference. It could be a chance to really kind of punctuate this road trip in a positive way. It goes back to it. Celtics, regardless of who's out there, have got to be ready to go.
It's been really fun watching the Stay Ready group, as they call themselves, through the last several games, especially Baylor Shireman, like we talked about earlier in the show. But one thing to keep your eye on if you're clocked in on all these games is the three-point record. First set by Isaiah Thomas, that's 245 most threes in a season by a single player. It could be broken by any three Celtics players, maybe as you're watching this today. So you have Derek White, who is 273, Peyton Pritchard, who is 236. I'm sorry, that's 237 from Derek White, and Jason Tatum, who is 236 as well.
It's so close. It's going to come down to availability, right? Like, who is able to play in these final games? I wonder if you think Jason Tatum might miss some time with this ankle, if Derek White gets a couple days to just ramp down because of all the basketball he's played. Does that open the door for potential Sixth Man of the Year, or, well, that feels pretty certain, to go out there and just put another line in the Celtics history books? He's already got that 40-40 game with D. White. He's already got like the most three-pointers off the bench in a season. How cool would it be if Peyton Pritchard is the guy that is the single season leader in Celtics three-pointers?
Absolutely. I kind of feel that way too. Like, it's a huge win if any of these guys break that franchise record for a single season. But with Peyton Pritchard, I just think that the more you can stack those accolades for him as you're looking for that end of the year award, I'm very much in favor of that. Forsberg, I have a feeling you have some kind of cold plunge or Swedish sauna that you have to hit.
Does anyone have a banana I can rub on my face?
Maybe the fruit market. We'll go check it out after the show. Thank you so much for being with us. This has been Celtics Weekly. We will join you next Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I like to kick it.